I have heard from way too many people this offseason. Way too many. I'm talking about at least 4 different people that Micah has worn thin there. Now, I don't know how much is true and how much it actually hurts. I don't know whether this is the behavior of a typical superstar. I don't know how damaging it is, but all I do know is this. I've heard from way too many people. If Micah Parsons was out of there, there'd be a decent amount of people inside the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco smiling or breathing a sigh of relief. That is my hot take statement that to me is really close to factual about just dealing with him.
Oh my goodness, welcome to the Dak Attack Show, and we are definitely about to sink our teeth into this one. This is definitely about to make its way to national airwaves as soon as Monday rolls around, just like anything inflammatory that 105.3 The Fan seems to talk about as it pertains to one of the stars of the Dallas Cowboys. This time, their target is Micah Parsons. Interesting that this conversation and dialogue is all happening in a year in which he also is up for a contract extension. Same thing we've been seeing with Dak Prescott and a lot of the different articles and negativity that we've seen come out about him from all the beat writers and the radio station. And now we're starting to see the same trend with Micah Parsons. But unlike what you think I'm about to do, I'm going to take a step back. We don't debate from an emotional standpoint. We try to look at this in totality and figure out what is the most logical and reasonable explanation for what it is that we are seeing. And this one gets a little bit interesting and a little bit murky. Now, I'm going to go ahead and state the devil's advocate argument for this first, because I know that there's a segment of my audience and there's a segment of people out there right now that truly believe that the things that Micah Parsons have participated in and had his name attached to are all either distractions or impediments on his character. I cannot sit here and ignore that. We have to be realistic. People don't like the podcasting. People don't like the fact that one of his family members is extremely vocal, even though I personally don't believe that that is anything that we should be able to judge or dictate. You can't sit there and tell people's family members what they can and can't do. That just sounds ridiculous to me, to be quite honest. But there's a segment of the audience out there that believes that a lot of the noise around Micah Parsons, his willingness to be vocal, him being one of the people that isn't afraid to talk to the media or say certain things in the media or to sit down with a Stephen A. Smith, the Dallas Cowboys' most famous hater. He's done things that have agitated portions of the Cowboys fan base. So I would be naive to sit here and immediately lambast 105.3 for bringing this entire debate up, even though I think it's a bunch of caca. I think it's a bunch of hogwash. I think it's a bunch of mudslinging, old school political debate tactics that some old decrepit owners whose last names may rhyme with Bones may try to do as it pertains to potentially somehow lowering the value of a player, whereas that's a completely ridiculous premise. How would that ever lower the value of a player? How does that ever work? You see what I'm saying? All it really does is strain a relationship if it's true.
And your boy did some due diligence. I sent out a post on X essentially asking for any other media members to try and confirm these reports by Sean Sharif, just to see if like he was the only person in the building to hear these particular things. And another guy did respond, Zach Walchuk. And I'm going to be honest, Zach Walchuk is not a hot take guy. He is not usually a guy that goes around and just says crazy stuff for the purpose of trying to get clicks. So yeah, somebody in the building is saying this, but again, we have no clue exactly how high up on the ladder they actually are. Or since it's contract time, they could be purposely leaving these breadcrumbs for media members to pick up. That's why I said it's complicated this time.
But who's to say an equipment manager that doesn't like the way that Micah Parsons may throw his socks at him or something? Who's to say that a water boy that got a water bottle tossed at him a little bit too hard during a heated time Who's to say that someone that really doesn't have any bearing on the franchise, someone that doesn't have any pull within the franchise, who's to say that someone like that may not have an opinion about Micah Parsons that isn't positive? See, we have to think about how this was actually framed and why it's a hot take. It's a hot take because it's Micah Parsons' name attached to a negative topic. But the way it was framed was, he didn't necessarily say it was someone in the front office. He didn't say it was someone that is in the high up or in high regards in the franchise. He said it was someone at the Star in Frisco, someone in the building. That literally could be anybody. So it's possible that someone doesn't like him. It's possible that someone may feel exhausted by his antics, or they may not jive with how he moves. But the way this whole entire thing was framed was just kind of disingenuous in the first place, because if you actually listen to the segment prior to the clip that I showed you, I implore you, always go and look at the source of things before passing any type of judgment or anything. If you go and look at the context of how this was set up, it was almost like they were fishing to do something controversial. They knew they were going to say something controversial at some point. And I'm not sure if this is coming from someone that we should honestly, and not say it in a rude way, because everyone's important in their own way, but as far as a team building, as someone whose opinion actually matters within the franchise and in making moves in the franchise, this could have possibly came from no one. Now, I say all that to say this. The fact that his contract isn't done yet is also pretty interesting, because people have been talking about Dak Prescott all offseason, but CeeDee Lamb, Micah have not gotten their contracts extended either. Are they going to make the same mistake they made with Dak and wait a year too late to extend these guys' contracts? And is this going to really be more expensive and really cause a deeper strain on your cap and really allow the front office to lean on the excuse that they can't do anything because they have to give all the pie to their players that are in-house already? Or are we just going to see a string of contracts get done, whenever the Joneses are ready, and a lot of this stuff was just fluff, like most of us probably believe that it is? Now, me personally, I haven't seen anything overtly that I can look at and say, oh my goodness, Micah Parsons probably is a fiend in the locker room. He's probably super negative for the locker room. Have I seen anything that makes me feel like he's the best leader on the field? Absolutely not. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But have I seen anything that makes me feel like he's a bad presence in the building or in the locker room? Or have I heard of anything as far as how he may treat fans or treat people that he comes across in person? No, I have not heard anything like that. I have not heard any horror stories of any Dallas fans. And I live locally, guys. I'm in the DFW. I haven't heard any horror stories of Micah Parsons out here. And this is my first time hearing of anything negative coming out about him in the building either. So this is just interesting timing. The fact that the contract is up, negotiations are happening. I'm not really sure, how this could impact negotiations. Now, as far as how I feel about this, why? Just why? What was the actual point of this? Y'all think about it. Let's be logical, right? We're not doing it from an emotional standpoint. Really take a step back. Why? It was for engagement. It was for no other reason. They weren't trying to break news. They didn't name any sources. And I'm so tired of this whole anonymous source thing, because the media has gotten too comfortable being able to just say anonymous source or someone in the building or someone outside the building, someone selling popcorn on the side of the street that see the players all the time has something to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm so tired of anonymous sources thing. But why? What made them randomly just pick at Micah? And I ask that because literally Micah Parsons has done nothing as of late or said anything or posted anything. I don't think he's even been doing his podcast. He's really done absolutely nothing except for maybe post some workout videos, which all the NFL players are doing right now. But he's done nothing at all that would inspire a topic about him, especially one in this fashion. Micah has done nothing. Nothing has come out about him outside of what y'all just made come out about him now. Why? What was the purpose of this time? And so I'm going to wait. And I'm going to ask some questions because I made a post. And I want some media members. I want some people to actually chime in on this. And we're going to keep up with this topic. And this is probably going to be a little short video series to really see what's happening. What's happening, and if people are really using these types of Bush League tactics just to garner views and attention, and there's really no substance at all to them when it's all said and done, that stuff all needs to be chronicled. You know what I'm saying? And I need to chronicle that kind of stuff over here. And I need to make it easy for people to go back and see the line of BS that these different media outlets put you through. And if they end up being truthful things, then it's also like, okay, you can see when there's smoke, there's fire, right? But this is going to be an educational exercise. And I would like to hear from anybody. If Micah's brother or anybody related to Micah, close to Micah, or someone that has any type of idea of the situation wants to come and talk to me, I mean, we can put a clip on here. We can have a quick discussion, put a clip on here, make sure it's comfortable for you, whatever. But I want to start really getting to the bottom of some of what's going on, what's being said, what's being heard. And I feel like the best way for me to really do that is to open my doors and extend the Dak Attack Show to people that want to get the truth out. So that way, at least people have a choice of what they want to believe, right? And I have a good enough platform to be able to do that with. But just why? And that's just my thing right now. And I'm just going to sit back and wait. I'm not going to pass any strong judgments or opinions on this just now, because we've heard Jesse Holly come out and say something similar. And we all were like, what the heck is going on with this? Scoffed at it. And now Sean Sharif is coming out and saying, did he hear this from Jesse Holly? Who knows? That's the questions that need to be asked. You know what I'm saying? So who's saying this? This is getting ridiculous. This is really getting ridiculous. Just how this team is covered and the carelessness in which the media and the different outlets and the different platforms that we currently have institutionalized within the Cowboys community. The carelessness in which they care for the Cowboys fan base.
And the reason I say that is because, okay, fine. If you have to report something that is truthful and that it may not be a good thing necessarily, give us the facts. Give us the details. Give us stuff that we can sink our teeth into. Don't give us just these ambiguous statements like, oh, his behavior is running thin. What behavior? What is it that he's doing that we need to know about? Okay, fine. You guys want to overprotect each other and your sources. Cool. But at least be specific in your reporting. Don't just be so vague and general and then leave all the details up to discussion. Be actual journalists. Be actual reporters. Tell us what the hell is going on.
There's ways to engage your community, engage your viewers, have engaging topics, have borderline spicy titling and clickbaiting a little bit without having to negatively impact your very demographic. And for a large part of our media platforms, a large part of our institutions within the Cowboys communities, a lot of our representatives, they don't represent us in a way that I feel like makes us look like a franchise to be envied, makes us look like the proud franchise that we really are. They really kind of feed into the clown show. They feed into the circus. Have y'all had enough of it yet? I'm just wondering. Because I'm definitely tired of saying it. I don't know if you are, but I'm definitely tired of saying we still them same old damn Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy, shut up. Hey! I'm still them boys.